Welcome to War. We have guys from Sabaton here, and first of all, I'm gonna let them introduce each other to you.
Over there is Hannes.
In the right corner of this couch is Per.
And as you can see, I'm living a dream, getting sandwiched by two Swedish big fellas. So this is a beautiful afternoon. How's Finland been treating you today?
Very good. We had a long trip, 5-6 hours from Provinsirok and Seinäjoki yesterday, which was a great time for us. So we are in good mood coming here, looking forward to a great night tonight.
What kind of evening will we have with you guys?
Hopefully we have on our specification sunshine to begin with, and they are working on that right now. And then other than that, it will be full on Sabaton. We have a tank and a lot of explosions, a good time and a lot of laughing, I would say.
So laughing and tanks, how do war and humor get together?
Well, I think when people come out and see a show, you want to have a good time, right? So, of course, the subjects that we sing about are very serious matters. But I think maybe you can enjoy or being interested in that, seeing a live show too. But for us, having a good time live, and then you can go deeper into the emotions or whatnot when you listen to the album, I would say.
What is more important to you, doing a new album and with full new songs, or make a gig?
Well, one feeds the other. If we don't have an album, we can't play. So the necessary evil is making the album and then play the album, basically.
So you're definitely a live band first?
For me personally, I prefer playing live than in the studio, yeah.
So, you guys have a lots of war themes in lyrics and lots of explosions, and you're almost next to none with this kind of massive live machination, so to speak. What is the story behind all this? You didn't start with bringing huge tanks on the stage when you started. What made your path here possible?
We didn't start it out with tanks on the stage, that's true. But we started out with an idea to have tanks on the stage to more visualize the concept what we sing about. But of course that requires bigger stages, more crew, more possibilities to do bigger shows and more fans. So as time went along and Sabaton grows, we can add more elements into the show. Initially we just have to sing about war, now we can also show a little bit about it.
Do you think you have reached a so-called critical mass when it comes to your success and being famous?
What's a critical mass? It depends on, there are different borders, and we always set up like we want to get here, and when we get to this level we can go there and change strategies and stuff. So critical level is what?
You define it.
Okay, well there's one critical level where you don't need to have a normal day-to-day job and you can focus full time on being this. This was the main goal to achieve and we have did it. Now the second one will be to keep this level until we get very old and cannot play anymore.
All right. What kind of topics move you the most when you do songs, be it lyrics or just riffs or synth parts? What is the stuff that you need? The gasoline.
Yeah, good question actually. For me, I think it's really cool because we have a lot of fans that from all over the world that send us suggestions for stories, which eventually or many times ended up on albums. That relationship between fans I've always found very special in a band. Such close connection with the people listening to the music. And other than that, a good fucking guitar riff and some cool drums. Heavy metal, you know, it doesn't need to be that complicated. That gets me going and has always done and will always do, I hope. So.
Yeah, your music is, in a way, it's a traditional heavy metal, but you can always also hear power metal elements. How is your definition of the band? If you have to explain what you do, like to the other people, how would you say?
Yeah, it's like I don't think you need to label it really, because like power metal would have by the label definition high-pitched vocals, which we don't have. Mm-hmm. So I think we're rather a pretty classical heavy metal band with our own stuff in it, you know. I don't know any other band that sounds like Sabaton.
Me neither.
And the diversity is pretty big too. So we have, on the latest album, we have a song called Blood of Bannockburn, which is in major key. Which heavy metal band did that before? A few, of course, but so there's a lot of space to work with when we do the music, which is always a lot of fun. Yeah.
What kind of bands still inspire you now that you are big yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm a huge music fan, and I still am, and I've always been. I'm always out on festivals, checking out bands. I'm going to see Suicidal after this. So it can be everything from, Lost Society. They're moving up here from Finland. Great band, great guys. To Painkiller, but the Judas Priest album I listened to today. So everything, to Fleetwood Mac. So, and I think a good song is a good song, no matter the style of music. If a band is hyped or not, I don't really give a shit. If I like it, I don't care if it's Euro disco, So a good song is a good song, I think.
Well, that's true in your case as well, and in my opinion, you have a really Swedish sound. I don't know if you hear it yourself, but for Finns, we've always looked up in Swedish music, be it dance music, be it metal music, be it whatever, basically. What do you think is in your tap water that creates this Swedish aura?
Swedish sound, that's the first time I heard we are compared to Swedish sound. Some people compare us to German sound, and sometimes even Finnish sound, because I think that, the melodic heavy metal with a lot of keyboards, it belongs, belongs a little bit to the north, but I don't know what is in the water, but I think that the whole, how do you say, the whole not atmosphere, but the climate of playing in music, of being a heavy metal band in Nordic countries, Finland and Sweden, is very good. I would say one of the main things that a lot of bands are good that comes from Sweden and Finland comes from the treatment of bands. People here are very friendly, and similar, Sweden and Finland are the same in this. You come as a young 12-year-old with the dreams of making your biggest show in your life, and first time you stand on stage, and even there isn't gonna be so much people, but it doesn't matter, it's your first time standing on stage, and everybody's friendly to you, treat you well, you get to eat something, you get whatever, and everybody's nice and friendly, lets you use an amplifier or whatever. And then it keeps the dream alive from the 12-year-old. It was a good first impression of playing that. Well, if you are in America and you are 12 years old and you have been practicing for the last 4 years to play this one first show of your life, and you show up and then the venue owner tells you to fuck off because he don't like you there or whatever, and you haven't sold any tickets, and then you ask where you to plug in your amplifier and he answers up your ass and stuff like that. And when you play, somebody tells you to shut up, you're playing too loud, you fucker. And so then when you're 12, 13 year old, you go home, you're not happy after the first impression of being on stage. You feel like this wasn't what I dreamed about at all. So maybe you just don't stop doing it. And I think that a lot of dreams are crushed at that age, while in Sweden and Finland, a lot of dreams keep going.
Good point, I would say, actually. My first show outside of Sweden was in Finland, actually, in Helsinki.
Which band? Sabaton? Right.
No, another band. You don't want to know.
We do?
No, you don't want to know. You can Google it. No, it was a pretty fucking terrible band. But anyway, we went over with the boat, brought all of our gear, and had a really great time. So I think Finland has always, for us, also been very special. Playing here. I lived here for a year, so super happy to be here.
Great. But about war, that is the kind of a major thing in Sabaton. But why war? I mean, I understand it's sexy, it's bad, it's gone throughout human history. But what moves you? I mean, why chose war? Why lyrics about warmongering, killing other people, and conquering lands?
Yeah, exactly. Well, warmongering is, of course, not what we're doing. It's quite the opposite. But I would say there's enough bands singing about fucking women and slaying dragons and drinking beer.
I need to find those bands.
Yeah, well, I can show you hundreds of them. Good bands, but I think they do it better than we do. So when these guys actually started the band, I was not there, and I think you guys wanted a theme that was a bit more important, maybe, from a genuine personal interest to not forget this stuff. You know, it's very important actually, not to forget what happened in the past, and we don't really seem to have learned so much of what happened in the past yet. So hopefully one day, maybe not, but I think it's an important topic.
You also have songs for like particular country. If you go to come to Finland, you have songs about Finnish wars or heroes or whatever. Is this, to put it kind of like a evil way, is it this kind of like a ass licking, like we want to appeal to your audience, or is it just kind of like out of courtesy?
No, it has nothing to do with any of those. It has to do with that there's a great story to be told, and I wouldn't be able to find many stories that are concerning the entire world in one song. I mean, there was a Second World War. Well, is that a whole song or whatever? I mean, we like to zoom in on conflicts or individual people or individual happenings that has been going on in historical about war. Why we do war? Because we like history and it fits with the music, and we want to sing about something that has happened for real. And in order to make it interesting and exciting for us to write about it, we need to focus on something we find emotional. And you would have that in every country has their own particular history. We don't sit home in Sweden and know everything what happened in every little country. We had no clue at all. We wouldn't be able to write any of the songs about Finland except if there was any Finnish fans give us the ideas, the inspiration, sending us ideas, telling us this is the story of our country. And then we retell it. The stories are usually written from a certain point of view, but never from our point of view. It's always written from the person who tells us. And usually that's the most emotional story. Because what we sing about, there will always be minimum 2 sides. Maybe sometimes even 3 or 4. And what is the right and truth? And that's not really up to us to say. It's not really up to us to say who did right and who did wrong. We get it told by somebody, by reading a book, seeing a movie, a fan tell us, or whatever it happens, a story from a certain point of view. We get attached to it emotionally, we like it, and we retell it to the rest of the world.
Now we're soon finishing up, but first I have to ask, you recently had beer by your the Sabaton beer coming out. What is the story behind all this, and are you happy with the result?
I tell you the story about it. We initially wanted a beer called Noch ein Bier, because 10 years ago or a little bit more, when we started to tour in Germany and do our own shows, the fans were shouting Noch ein Bier after every song because our singer, he didn't speak so well German, but he could say basically one more beer, one more song. Noch ein Bier means one more beer. So the crowd, of course, started to scream Noch ein Bier after every song because they wanted to hear more songs. And we were drinking one beer and then played another song and drinking one beer and playing another song, and the fans were screaming it. And eventually we thought that it's the best name for a beer, one more beer. So Noch ein Bier was gonna be the beer that we're gonna brand throughout the world and do it. And we did even a Noch ein Bier festival to have fans taste the new beer and help us to make it, and everything was fine. Then we have the Swedish version of Alko, Systembolaget, saying, we're not gonna take that beer because it's called Noch ein Bier, and in our country you are not allowed to encourage drinking, and one more beer means that's encouraging drinking, so forget about that beer. So we were a little bit disappointed, and our quick response was, well, we just did The Last Stand as an album, then we make the last beer, and hopefully the Systembolaget will sponsor us because we are telling people to drink with their last beer. They didn't like the joke, but they accepted the beer.
It was a good story though, and I drank the beer. It's pretty okay lager. What do you think of yourself?
I like it a lot, and we've been drinking it quite a lot. We brought it with us on tour, like maybe was it 10,000 bottles we brought with us on tour. Yeah, half a truck of beer we brought with us on the last European tour, and drinking that and that only. And I guess if you can drink it for 3 months in a row, that's
a sign of a good beer.
So it has a stamp.
But where can fans get it?
The problem for now is that we don't have distribution outside of Sweden. So I guess Alko can get it. If you go to them and you tell them that you want it, you can get it here in Finland too. But if you want to have it in Germany, where they don't have this monopoly system, it's not going to work. But Sweden and Finland, you can get it in the Alko and Systembolaget.
All right. One last question. What is out in the near or distant future for Sabaton? What are you going to do next?
We have some festivals in the summer, and then we have a plan for the autumn. Some of it is already out. We're going to be more in the Asia and stuff, but it's going to take a while until we make a new album. It's going to take a while after tonight that we get back to Finland. So people who are here in Tuska tonight, they got to keep this spirit of tonight for a long time. And but we will be back. But it's going to take a little time.
All right. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
It was a really pleasure. Thank you.
Kiitos.
So, final watch the camera. What do you want to pitch yourself?
Thank you for amazing support, and see you soon.
You heard the man. You're gonna see these guys on stage and they're gonna bring you beer. So watch out for war, watch out for beer. These are Sabaton, Rauta out.